The higher trajectory pair, the main family, is long blast bunker. And if we simply open our stance more and play the ball more forward, that is a flop or a short bunker shot. So what are the keys to a long blast bunker? Well, first we have an open stance. 2, we're going to have an open club face to where we want the ball to land. And 3, we need to make an on-plane golf swing. The club has to be on plane or slightly above the plane coming into the ball. And then something really good for short game 101, weight left for a right-hander at impact. You'll see my weight has shifted. And you can see my shaft is leaning more forward than it was at address. You'll see that with all short game shots. And then one click later, now it's matching the address shaft lean about 3 inches past impact. That's exactly where you want it. So weight is left, we hit down, and then the third part is release. The arms and hands are going to rotate with any speed in the club head. So if you're out there trying to pull and turn through the ball and hold the face open, it doesn't really happen when there's speed in the club head. And you're going to see a lot of hands and wrists right in this area, and that's what really makes that bounce of the club work. So when we watch this video, looking from this angle, you're going to see the club vertical. We'll get the club a little more vertical on this shot. I shallow it. It's a pretty much on plane coming into the ball. And then watch the toe of the club rotate as the club gets up to where the shaft would be parallel to the ground. Notice the toe of the club is toe up. So it has rotated and it is right on plane. It's right there in that on plane window. And if we just take away the line, you can see the club face is rotating as it goes through. And that's what happens. It rotates, and then right here the hands and wrist recock it up. That's what happens. It's going to recock it up right on the plane. So if we look at this picture right about here, you can see that club's right about parallel with the plane. So there's a club that's just right on plane going through. So that's what we're looking for with these shots. So in regard to setup, the yellow line represents the target line, or where we want the ball to land. This red line, which I'm going to tip with some yellow, that is the swing line, or it's going to aim approximately 5 feet to the left at 20 yards. And then the black rod or black line, that's where we want the club face to aim. We want the club face to aim approximately 5 feet to the right of where we want the ball to land. This is all long blast bunker. And you'll see from this angle that the club is outside my hands going back, and coming down the club will be right on plane coming into the ball. And then you're going to see the toe of the club and my arms and hands rotate as the club goes through on the other side. Notice it's more vertical coming through as well. But it's important to understand how open you want your stance to be and how open you want the club face. This is a little bit of an optical illusion, but this toe line is parallel with the other red line, the swing line. Just an optical illusion. So you want to set everything up parallel with that red line. Your knees, your hips, your shoulders, everything parallel left with that. So now when we switch to the short bunker shot or the flop, the toe line is going to get more open and the ball position will get more forward. The club face angle is still only going to be aimed 5 feet to the right of where we want the ball to land, but we've aimed our body for a right-handed golfer more to the left, and with the ball more forward, we have less forward shaft lean. We might even have some backward. Yeah, we have 1 degree of backward shaft lean. So what you're going to see here are the same characteristics. You're going to see my weight in my front foot at impact. There's impact, the shaft leaning more forward than it was at address. Boom, there it is going through this imaginary line that's about 3 inches in front of the ball. And watch the arms and hands rotate as the club has speed in it and recocks the hands and wrist as it goes back up. Those are huge keys for hitting these shots. Here's another one from the grass where the ball is forward. And this one I'm really going to let it go, meaning past impact. So there again, you see the shaft leaning more forward. There's that place, 3 inches past impact. Now I'm going to let it go and even let it come out of the fingers of my left hand as it goes around. So that's a high skill shot there to really let go with those 3 fingers of the left arm and hand. But that's what you would do to hit the ball straight up in the air or flop. Notice the way the club is working in the turf. It's not digging. And loft equals bounce. So anytime you set up and you have your shaft straight up and down, you've got loft, you have bounce. And I really believe that using these hands and wrists right in here, look at the hand action right there, that's what makes the bounce work. If you're pulling and turning there, you're going to have that sharp leading edge stick in the ground, and that's going to result in a bad shot if you hit even just a 1/4 inch behind the ball. Here's one more bunker shot you can see from face on, and you will just see that this shot here, see my setup, and I've got the ball more forward. I'm hitting more of a short bunker shot here. You can see as I come in, there I am again with a little more forward shaft lean. There's that magical place 3 inches past impact where the shaft matches up, and then watch the arms and hands rotate as the club and hands and wrists recock the club back up. That's what you're looking for when you're hitting flops. So you really want to work on that. And then lastly, I want to show you down the line. Here's down the line. You're going to see that club's a little outside my hands, come down. It's slightly outside the plane. If anything, you want to have the club just a little outside the plane coming into the ball. If it's underneath here, that's going to be drop kicks and blades and other things that you don't want to have happen. So make sure you get this club, if we look at this going vertical, going back, if that club gets underneath the plane, and most importantly underneath coming into the ball, that's going to result in a poor shot. For more information, visit LarryRinker.com.